It is March 27th, going to the 28th, and yeah, I'm going to give you an update here real quick. Okay, guys, before we get into this, I do want to give you an update on myself and my family. For me, today has probably been the worst that I felt. I've been really exhausted. I mean, just completely wiped. Huge headache, all that stuff. My family seems like they're getting better because they started experiencing symptoms way before I did. Okay, so that's probably what it is. I'm just now hitting the apex of it, and they've already hit the apex and on their way back down to normal. And again, I'm going to say this too straight off the bat. I have no idea if I have this particular illness that we're talking about. Okay, there's no way for me to know. I would have to go get tested. And the smartest thing for me and for everybody else that's around me is for me to stay in my house unless I need to go, to get emergent medical assistance. And at this point, that's not necessary. So, not only am I having respect for myself, protecting myself by not exposing myself to the hospital environment or a doctor's office environment, I'm protecting those around me also. That's why I do this. It's not because I don't want to get tested and I don't want to know. I do, to be honest with you. I would love to know if this is what this is. But at this point, it's not a smart thing to do. That's just what I'm saying. The numbers might be off because of people like me, not going to getting tested. But what's more important, the number or keeping people healthy? That's where I'm at with this. So just know that's actually what's going on with me. Hey guys, I am going to go over some numbers with you here real quick and some articles that have been coming out about some stuff that's been going on with this. And a couple of it's kind of is a positive thing. Others aren't so positive. But as you can see, we broke 100,000 confirmed cases here in the U.S. So, yeah, take that for whatever it's worth. 600,000 confirmed total global wide. So we're pushing 30,000 deaths, which is really the most concerning number. But I do want to go over a paper that was written. It was a study from University of Washington, and we're going to go look at that here in just a second. But also there was a article just came out talking about they now have a 15-minute test. So, and the FDA's approved it. How fast it rolls out, I don't know, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. Okay, guys, this is over at GeekWire, and there's a bunch of articles written on this particular paper out of the University of Washington. And let me say this first and foremost. This was put out on the 25th. The paper was put out. And again, it was a study that these college students had done. And, it hasn't been peer reviewed yet. But that doesn't mean that it ain't valid information. And the reason I say that is most of them will not put a paper out unless they think when it gets peer reviewed that everything's going to be fine. That's just pretty much par for the course. Now, sometimes, obviously, there's peer review for a reason. So they can correct themselves, make adjustments, and get the information correct. That's why they do that. So there probably will be some small adjustments, I would imagine, to these numbers, after it's been peer reviewed, and there may not be. Who knows? But obviously, that headline right there kind of says it. Researchers predict 80,000 deaths in 4 months here in the U.S. So what does that mean? Well, if you take that 80,000 and you look at that mathematically and you see where we're at and all that kind of a thing, the numbers, what that would mean if you applied that to the total number of cases we have right now. Okay, back on the 25th, we were right at about 1,000 deaths. Okay, this is saying 80,000 deaths. So how do we come to a number? Well, we come to a number that we take the 1,000 deaths that we have right now and we times it by 80. That's how you get 80,000, right? So it makes sense, and it would get you kind of in the ballpark if you took the total number of cases, okay, which was right around 80, let's see here, I can't remember what it was, a little over 80,000 here in the U.S. back on the 25th. So you take that 80,000 there and you times it by 80. And that should give you some sort of a ballpark figure of how many people are actually going to catch this thing here in the United States, according to this data. That gives you 6,400,000 people. Okay? That's total number of cases, people that catch this. Again, they're saying 80,000 of them will pass, that kind of a thing. And they go into that paper here, guys. I would go down here. You see this link right here, research paper that's being submitted to the preprint server thing right here. It's going to be peer reviewed and all that kind of a thing. There's a lot of good graphs, a lot of good information in there. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll just click on it. We'll go over there. I've already looked at it. It's a PDF. It's free. Just go over and check it out. Lots of good visuals here. The first 13 pages of this thing is all data. There's no graphs or nothing. But it's telling you where they got their data. There were some interesting things, okay, like right here. This is the date of peak hospital bed usage. So wherever you're at here in the United States, just use that key right there. And right now it's saying on April 1st to the 7th, New York and would have their peak usage April 1st to April 7th. Bed usage. In other words, the hospital beds will be, that's the peak of it. Okay? And you can go down through here again. Look at all this. Excess bed, let's say demand. Obviously, New York's going to be the first one on that right now. Obvious reasons. Okay? Don't need to go into that. Excess ICU demand. Same thing. All that stuff's going to pretty much follow suit. And again, we start getting into the death thing here. Okay? Cumulative deaths. All right? Now, what I found interesting about this is the range. Okay? This is where they got their 80,000 number. Okay? That's that red line right there. If you look up here, that would be about 80,000. So what they've done is they've given you a range. So it could be, that looks about like 35, 36 maybe right there at the bottom, up all the way to over 150,000 people passing away. So if we're better, or we could be worse, but the middle part where they actually think it's going to be is right around 80,000. So that's where they got that number from, if you guys are wondering. I'm sure you guys have already heard that number because it's been out there for a couple days. So I just wanted to show you that part. Okay, guys, here's that FDA that just approved that 15-minute test. What it does is, guys, you guys read down through here. I'm not going to read it verbatim, what it's actually doing. But it's actually looking at antibodies that build up in your system, I guess. That's the way I understand it. I could be completely wrong on that. I don't know. But please read this because it will give you some decent information on what's going on with that test. It says, I can't remember exactly what this thing says, but you have to have a little bit of knowledge about what's actually medically going on with this to understand this article, which most of us can. Okay. Number one, this test has been used in other places and it's been shown to be effective. Okay, so that's one thing that's a positive for this. It's a serological test. What does that mean? Serological, the meaning they identify the presence of antibodies in a person's blood. Okay, and they differ considerably from the molecular testing which are using by people's blood also. So that's how they can tell the difference of why. That's how they can even use this as a test. Because when your body gets attacked with this thing, this is what it does, and these antibodies, I would imagine, increase. Okay, and it's probably a specific kind. Don't quote me on that. Not really for sure exactly, but they're saying this is it's a 15-minute test. You get the results in 15 minutes. Now, again, other countries have already used this. Our FDA has just approved it today. So there you go. This could be a a pretty oh my God, a pretty good game changer here for a lot of people, because if they if they can get tested, then they can know, right, and then they could be treated correctly, and that's where we're that's where I was going with that. So that's a good thing. That's a positive thing, guys. Okay, now this article here just popped off today. This is something that we've known has been going on for some time now. Been talking in the background to the people that I talk to, and this has been directly affected somebody that I talk to, one of their friends. So what this is about, guys, is it's about they're actually hunting down these people that are leaving the New York area. That's what they're saying, and they're prosecuting them. They're forcing them to quarantine because they've been asked to do so. Then they break this, but they're thinking, now guys, this is getting serious enough in that area that they're actively searching out these people that are leaving the New York area and finding them and forcing them into quarantine and anybody they've been in contact with. Okay, now most people are going to be responsible enough, at least at this time. Okay, because back then, like a week ago, people really didn't understand that it was this serious there. Okay, so those people that left then, it's a lot different than somebody leaving now. Okay, today. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, because there is no question about it right now in New York, it's bad. Okay, that's just what it is. And I would, man, prayers need to go that direction as much as you can. So yeah, I wanted to bring that to your attention because that is something that definitely, it's not something we typically would experience over here in the Western world, guys. Okay, and that's why I bring it up. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about what we usually talk about here on my channel, something that has to do with space, right? Or at least space weather. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Anyway, man, this is a really strange signature, something I've noticed here on the Shumann. Okay, but before we get into that, I don't want to leave our friends from abroad out of all this too. I think about everybody globally. Okay, guys, let's not forget that this is affecting other countries. Okay, I have a lot of people that watch my channel from around the globe, and we think about you guys too. And it might not be as intense where you're at, but it's still happening. Obviously right now, ground zero is right here in the United States. And, but that doesn't mean that you guys aren't going through stuff too, because you are. So just know that we're thinking about you over here too, okay? All you guys that are, overseas, not here stateside, I wouldn't even pretend to even know what you guys are going through. It's got to be different in other countries because, they operate differently. So I just wanted to say that. Now, as you're looking at this Shumann signature, guys, you remember back when I was talking about that dash line, right? Well, I mentioned this in my last video. This is where it initially started. Okay, down here about 24 hertz. Okay, see 24 over here? All right. Now, what I've noticed is, you see how intense that is? How bright? That's how you can tell the intensity of it. Okay? That's down where it was. It actually had disappeared there for a while, and it moved up here, okay, to where it was right around 16. See the dash right here, how it's not as prevalent? But this one down here on the 24 hertz level had completely went away. So then I pop up this today or yesterday, and I've been looking at it, but I didn't notice it until today. Okay, now you remember me saying, guys, anybody that's new to any of this, our base frequency should be right around 7.83 hertz. Okay, let me get that off of there. That's about right here. There should always be some sort of signature right there, all the way down through this graph. Okay, but look at this. Okay, you heard me talking about like the stripes. Okay, look at that. See this? See this? See these spikes? We started seeing them on the spikes. You see the horizontal stripes? I wonder if that's a tool flaw or not. I still don't know. I've tried to get into contact with these people that make this and multiple times, but I'm starting to see some really strange stuff now. Okay, see how we're getting these horizontal marks here now too? Okay, and they seem to be taking some sort of, I don't know. I'm just, and again, this is just observation for me, right? Because I don't pretend to know exactly what this is. When we start seeing strange stuff like this. Now, I can say when we see these spikes right here, that's most definitely, that's not our base frequency. So when we see that, we do concern ourselves with like ringing in our ears and stuff like that. But what I noticed about this particular signature today is look at all the horizontal lines. I mean, just all of them, and intense. Look. I mean, we started seeing that, the stripe thing, like I was talking about before, just on the spikes is when it started. Now it seems to be taking over the whole bottom half of the graph from about 16 hertz down. I don't know what's going on here. It's really strange. Not to mention that this is an average from like 10 different stations. That's what they do. They take the vibration from like 10 different locations, and that's how they plot the point. That's how they plot the data on this graph. So for it to do this, it's really strange, because that would mean that 10 different stations would have probably most likely had picked up something very similar in different locations. So, take that for what it's worth, man. I just don't know what this is. A lot of theories, a lot of different ideas. We've theorized for a long time that our base frequency is starting to rise, going up higher frequency. And, again, there's a lot of ideas and legitimate stuff there that we need to look at. I am just not that intelligent on this yet. I'm trying to educate myself as much as I can. I mean, I do know a little bit about this because I've been reporting on it for a while. I do know what it can do to you mentally and, medically. But when we start getting this kind of stuff, I don't know where to go with it. As I've sent them emails and yeah, hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, I've sent them emails and things like that to no response. I mean, none whatsoever. So that is what it is. I don't know where else to go with that. At this point, we're just left to theorize, and we can only theorize so much without getting getting it right. So anyway, I did want to show you that. Now I'm going to touch on Comet Atlas too, because I know that that's coming around. It's in a lot of people's minds. So I'm going to go over it just a little bit, and then we'll dig into it deeper later on. Okay, guys, this is over at spaceweather.com, and yeah, this is the Atlas article that they've written. They've written a couple, okay, but you can read that right there. Comet Atlas is half as wide as the sun. Now, what they're saying there, they're not talking about the core, okay? They're talking about the gaseous plume that's around it. All right, now it's still legitimate to know what that is, okay? We really it's valid to want to know that, because it does, affect things. This is one of those things that they're starting to talk like right now. It's going to be visible even in our daytime sky. It's going to be that bright. Now, I know a lot of young people that are watching this, or younger, in their early 20s or 30s or whatever, it's watching this video. You may not remember or have ever seen a comet like that. I was around when, Hale-Bopp went through. I was around when Halley's Comet went through the last time. All that kind of stuff. Now, they will tell you straight up that they don't know when this thing starts getting closer to the sun if it's just going to be. They can theorize and tell you what they think, but they simply don't know. The sun could just heat it up. It would, yeah, it happens a lot. But with this one, it's getting brighter and getting brighter pretty fast. Okay, now its plume is half as wide as the sun. Okay, it's 720,000 kilometers wide. I mean, that is big. Okay, and then it goes on to tell you what the actual, because if you look at this, it gives you some sort of diameter there, measurement. You can see it. Now, right now, you can't see it with a visible eye. Okay, you have to have some sort of a telescope and have it pointed in the right direction. Okay, let's see here. It says, you guys can go down through here and read this, but it most certainly is telling you that they expect it to get brighter as it gets closer. It most definitely, I don't think anybody's kind of disputing the fact that we will see it with our naked eye, at least at night. Okay, and this one is kind of a little stranger because the last few have really been more visible in the southern hemisphere. Well, this one's going to be able to be seen in the northern hemisphere. Okay, so so you can go through here and read all this stuff, but right here it says looking north after nightfall. This was on the 24th. Now, granted, that it's not going to move in position very much from day to day. It will move. It's going to go across the sky, okay? But it's not going to move drastically. So you can go out and look pretty much in the same spot every night. And if you just follow it, you'll be able to, obviously you'll be able to see it. So this kind of gives you an idea where to look. Obviously, that's the Big Dipper. And it's hanging right around there, guys. Okay, now I know there's a lot of theories about what this thing can do, or how it's going to affect us, if any at all. Is it bringing some kind of debris with it? Are we going to go through it? Those are all legitimate questions. At this time, I would tell everybody just to kind of sit back and just pay attention. Just look. And be, like I said, just have a little bit of grounded common sense a little bit before going way off the deep end there a little bit. I've done it before. Everybody's done it. I'm not saying anything about that. But don't get fearful of this. Okay? Again, there's no reason to. And even if there was, it wouldn't do you any good to feel or be like that, because there's nothing you can do to stop it. Whatever's going to happen with situations like this is just going to happen. I've seen a couple of other videos and stuff, people just freaking out over this. I really wish that didn't happen, because it does do nothing but stir up fear. At that point, it's not about making people aware. When you come out and you present yourself in a fearful way like that, it most certainly entices fear onto people that doesn't need to be there. That's what I'm trying to say. It's okay to give people the information and tell things, hey, this is what I think, whatever, all this. But to get all dramatic and on camera and doing all this stuff on videos and posting it, it's just not doing any good. It doesn't help people at all. It just doesn't. Okay, guys, I did want to show you all the information you can find on this very, very simply. Okay, all I did was put in Google search there, Comet Atlas Orbit. That's all I did, and you see what pops up. Okay, every news outlet out there, alternative news to mainstream, is showing this, because it's going to be in our face. All right, now the orbit of it is actually, it's interesting. Okay, they're theorizing here. I'm not sure if that's actual. The exact amount of years that this thing is orbiting. It says 6,026 years it takes it to orbit the sun, and they do that by judging its angle and its speed and it all that kind of thing. Now, obviously, if they get newer data in showing that what they thought it was made out of, or if it's moving faster or slower than what they thought, all that kind of stuff can affect what the orbital time is. They could be wrong, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think anybody's trying to say that this thing's going to actually hit us. If they are, I would refrain from, well, watching those people. um, because I don't think that that is even in the cards. Now, if you look at the name of these things, they name these things, usually they always put the year that it was discovered right in the front. Okay, that says 2019. So that's when they didn't see this thing until last year. So, that's how that's why they got to judge the orbit by that, not by actual historic data. So again, guys, go check out this stuff. I'll be talking about it more as it gets closer, because they just simply don't know how bright it will get. They don't any of that stuff. They really don't know exactly what's going to happen when it gets closer to the sun. That kind of a thing. Whether it's orbited the sun before, don't know. There's a lot of theories out there, guys. Like this was part of a bigger comet that actually broke up, and because of that, this is just a piece of it that's still in an orbit around the sun. There's all kinds of different stuff here, but at the end of the day, what matters is how's it going to affect us now. I think most of us, we tend to not live in the present as much as we should. Yes, we got to look to the future. Yes, we got to look behind us to find, to learn from that, which is what I talk about with this whole illness. Let's just get through the present, and then we'll look back. Okay, guys, this is my Facebook group page. I started about a week or so ago. If you guys want to come over and sub up to that, become a member, it's pretty cool. We have a lot of good discussion. Right here, Chris Reynolds, he was showing the Shumann resonance thing I just showed you guys. I didn't even know he posted that. So yeah, obviously more people are seeing it than just me. So I'm glad, because that does mean that people want to talk about it. So, and then this here, I think this is just talking about the Comet Atlas. I'm not sure. She's a new member. I don't know exactly what she's talking about here yet. Orbital diagram of asteroid 1998 OR2. Oh, it's that one that's supposed to be passing real close to us. Maybe have some debris with it. That is a real thing, but I'm not sure exactly how much that's supposed to be affecting us, which is why you guys should come over to this group page. And again, we talk amongst ourselves here, and we get some pretty good conversation going. So come over and sub up to that, become a member, and yeah. And also the Planet X News Facebook page. I'll take you over there real quick. Here's that group page. Obviously, Scott had started this one up. Oh gosh, it's been a month or two now, I think, if not longer. Got close to 5,000 members. And same thing, guys. Good conversation. Okay. Pertinent conversation that we talk about here. So, yeah, just check it out. I mean, there's a whole lot of different stuff that we talk about here. So, it says delete if not allowed. I don't know if I want to show that or not. I don't know. What are they talking about here? Oh, no. Okay. It looks like a possible UFO, I guess, is what that's probably talking about. It says a star in the sky that's been getting brighter. So sometime now. Well, I took a picture about 10 minutes ago, and this is what I got. Pictures include original and cropped and edited to bring out detail. See, this is what we do over here in these group pages, guys. I wanted you guys to see that, okay? Because that's what we do. We talk amongst ourselves. We start having conversation about certain things, and it leads to, answers. At least what we think is the right answer. So, yeah. So come over and again. Sub up the Planet X News group page, and then the Wages World group page. We all kind of bounce stuff around from each other. So yeah, I'm going to end it there, guys. God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.